But then the money had run out, or the wife had run out, and all that was left was a cinder-block shell, the house a dream of itself, square-eyed and black-mouthed. Whenever I saw one, I stopped by the side of the road and stood leaning on my bicycle to look. Sometimes out there I would get the hollow feeling. I called it loneliness, though I knew it wasn't exactly loneliness because I was the type of person who liked solitude. From Wando High to Mount Pleasant was straight, uninterrupted shopping, with no let-up, a hive of purchasing activity that was reassuring. The level of shopping was an indicator, in my opinion, of human trust in the future. I myself sometimes woke up in the middle of the night, scared to death. When I tried to pinpoint the fear, nothing logical came to mind. All I could come up with was the end of the world. But nobody else feared that. Look at them, swarming into the garden center, coming out with flats of two-tone petunias and soaker hoses. But I had that tingling. I didn't know where it might come from, but I was prepared. If I had one personality trait, it was vigilance. Let the world do its worst. Lucille Odom was ready. I sensed that I was on a verge. A large block of time was due to crack open in front of me, the future that up till then had been impenetrable. I stuck to the highway. Even though I had traveled it that morning, I saw new things. I noticed for the first time a new TV tower in the distance, making a string of 6 now in the long stretch of marsh up the Intracoastal Waterway. A car went by. Something pinged against my helmet. A jelly bean could do me in, I realized. I wore a safety helmet and didn't care how I looked. If I had been a normal teenage girl, I might have cared, but I wasn't and didn't. When I say I wasn't normal, I don't just mean I had the usual adolescent delusions of being different from everyone else. My upper lip had failed to fuse during a critical embryonic stage, and I'd been born with a split there. Not a full-fledged hair lip, but a small, neat slice not quite all the way through. When I was 3, the lip had been repaired, and now, they said, it was hardly noticeable. Well, does hardly noticeable mean noticeable or not noticeable? But I wasn't one to set store by looks. For a long time I felt guilty about my lip, and I had an urge to apologize to my mother for it. Imagine expecting another wonder baby and getting one with a flapping lip. However, I later found out that I had no need to apologize. It was more likely that she needed to apologize to me. I accepted the seam, ran my finger over its shiny ridge whenever I was in deep thought, and went on with my life. I had no time for guilt or resentment. I had interests that required all my attention. Interests unlike those of most teenagers. I was studying certain things. Something had come over me, recently, like within the past few weeks. It was primarily a feeling. I called it invision, because it was almost as if I could see into things. I couldn't take my eyes off physical objects, plants, dogs, faces, birds, all the world of nature, but also manufactured items such as cars, mailboxes, chain-link fencing. Invision, I decided, was a gift, and I received it the way a child receives something that may very well not have been meant for him. I hid it. Pop had lost his license after a number of speeding offenses. He was a good driver, had never had a wreck, but he couldn't help driving fast due to his faith in the world. Caution is an attribute of the suspicious mind. A man without a car is a miserable creature, especially a businessman, especially a Southern businessman. What was he supposed to do, he said, ride the bus? Mother said the bus was quite nice, in fact, but she ended up driving him everywhere he wanted to go. He was embarrassed to the bone and sat with his head lowered. Sitting on the passenger side made him feel like a pansy, he'd said yesterday. "Oh, Warren," Mother said. She was interested in homosexuals and protective of them, ideologically.